Calling to order the January 22nd, 2015 meeting of the Oklahoma City Airport Trust. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the December 18th meeting. What is the wishes of the trustees?
Move the item.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes. Next up, the director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. I do have a couple of items this morning. The first, I'd like to just report that 2014 was a great calendar year for Will Rogers World Airport. We had the largest number of passengers ever to pass through the airport, 3,834,009 passengers, and our boarding passenger numbers were over 1.9 million. In 2013, we were at 1.83 million, so we increased quite a bit in 2014, so a very good year. My second report that I have, I'll ask Karen to come up to the podium, and we have a short presentation this morning by a representative from Delaware North Companies. Delaware North is the food and beverage vendor for the airport at Will Rogers, and they have been a vendor for many, many years, and they operate several different concessions at the airport, and they've made several improvements over the last few months and years, and they have another one that they'd like to present to us today regarding the Bar 1907 Lounge, which is directly across from the food court and the concourse. So, Karen, if you don't mind coming up and setting this up a little bit better for us.
Sure. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, trustees. It's hard to believe that it's actually been 10 years since we opened the Central Concourse. It was the first quarter of 2005 when we opened 3 new gates, which are now leased to Southwest Airlines, as well as the new food court, which was new for our airport, and the Bar 1907. Certainly a lot of things have changed in 10 years, not the least of which we are seeing such an increase in travelers, as Mark just reported, but also the expectations of the travelers and what they expect to see, particularly in the offerings of the food and beverage concessions and retail concessions. Delaware North certainly has recognized this, and as a result, they're bringing us a really nice, fresh concept for Bar 1907. As a side note, I kind of wanted to mention that Delaware North and some of the other cities in which they operate have made a very strong commitment to supporting and participating in bringing live music to those airports and the terminals and partnerships with the airports. One of the projects I'm working on right now is actually developing a music program for the airport, and Delaware North has already committed their support and participation in a program of that nature. This new concept will hopefully provide a venue for the promotion of live music. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Scott Weingarten. He is Vice President of Business Development. Scott?
Thank you. Thank you for letting me show you guys what we're excited to do here. Cross Grains Brew House is a proprietary brand that we are creating internally to use in markets where we can bring a local presence of local beers, artisan food that's to the area of the airport and the neighborhood surrounding it. So this is a proposal that we put together on what we want to convert the 1907 bar to. So we passed out handouts. It's also on the screen, but we'll flip through it so we can give you an idea of what we're going to design and what we're going to do here for the airport. I have the remote here. Let's see. It's working.
Karen might be able to just do it for you.
Yeah.
It might be easier.
No problem. So if you guys have the books, if you open to the first page here, this is a rendering of the similar space of the 1907 bar and what we were proposing that we were going to do with new signage, opening it all up, putting glass so you can see into it, redoing the whole interior of it, and bringing a whole new presence to this airport, really focusing on, like I said, the local beers. We'll go around and we'll meet with local breweries here and select ones that we feel are going to be a good complement and a good fit to the airport. In addition, what we want to do is we develop this program here is we want to create it with some technology where you have some pouring stations that will actually be on the table where you can get some information about the beer on the table, and we'll set it up where you can actually buy 1 or 2 beers at the table and it'll pour it for you here, and that'll be part of our design that we'll see when you guys see the layouts here. If we flip through on this here, you can see some of the interior finishes that we're going to propose here. We really like it to be very woody, very, browns, a little bit of blue to really kind of emphasize this kind of comfortable bar feel. The next page will show kind of the interior of what this will look like. And on the wall, the back wall there, that will be displayed with the local beer concepts. Right now, I just have it as placeholder here, but that'll be the beers in the area, and you can see the different taps and how we're going to do this. If you keep going here, it's just another kind of view of the signage for this. And as we flip to the next page, it'll be customized specifically for Oklahoma City. So yours will be Cross Grains Brew House, Oklahoma City. Currently with Delaware North right now, we have one of these Cross Grains under construction. This will be the second one. And really what we're trying to do is build a brand around it so someone can say, hey, I've been at Cross Grains in Oklahoma City Airport, and, it's great. I'm going to go to the one that's in Fort Lauderdale or whatever other airport we go to, but we feel that this is a great market to brand this out in. If you go continue going here. So this is just, again, some of the different logos and signage kind of insignias that we use with the colors that we're going to stick to for the color theme here. And then if you keep going again to the next page, this would be the menu for the Oklahoma City store. We will customize some of the items on the menu, working with Mark and his team to really fit the area, the neighborhood. But this will be what the front looks like. It'll be specifically branded for Oklahoma City, so that any insignias on hats or shirts that we can sell will be souvenir items that will be specifically for Oklahoma City. So if we keep going here, you can see kind of some of the, well, that again is the menu and what the menu will look like. It'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we'll actually be cooking on site when we do our renovation here. We're estimating about a $1.9 million investment, and we're going to put hoods in the space. Currently there aren't any hoods in the space, so there'll be hoods and full-blown walk-in coolers and freezers, so all the prep can be done on site now. So you'll have a full-blown restaurant kitchen here. So when we'll work on customizing the menu with Mark and his team, but just wanted to give you an idea of what it'll look like. The other interesting thing that we find with this concept is that we can sell or brand out merchandise specifically for Oklahoma City around this concept. So you can have, specialty bags that someone buys a hat and they can carry on the plane with them. It'll specifically say, Cross Grains, Oklahoma City. So to continue that theme of driving home when someone's traveling through here, they can carry a bag with them for Oklahoma City. And if you kind of flip through, we put in here some examples of the T-shirts that we make for this concept, the hats. So really to kind of give this other element to it. And, we're even thinking as we get into some of this stuff is that we can put some of the local brew houses' logos on the back of the hats, so that it's really now Oklahoma City, so when someone's walking around, they can really get the feel of, where did you get that hat? I got it in the airport at Oklahoma City. So if we keep going here now, again, this one's kind of a bigger view of the signage in the front of the house. And like I said, it'll say Cross Grains Brew House, it'll say Oklahoma City underneath, which was that original sign. And when we get this together as for permitting and everything, that's what you guys will see, but I wanted to put this in here. The next slide here is interesting is, with this concept, ideally we designed it where you can brew beer on site. We won't be doing that here at this airport, but what we will be doing is having all the equipment in there, potentially brewing root beer out of it too. That's an idea that we were talking about. I think as we're researching the brewing on site, we really would rather go and get local breweries that are doing it fresh and, bring their product in versus us trying to create one. But what we will do is have murals on the wall explaining the brewing process. So someone's sitting there, they can see how it was all done. And when we partner with the local breweries, everyone has their own process of doing it, so we'll have 2-3 different murals from the different local breweries showing how they would brew their beer for Oklahoma City. So I like that. It's kind of neat. And if we keep going here, here's a timeline. So we're ready to go. We're going to hire a local architect, that we I think just hired. I don't know who it is, but I heard we just hired them yesterday. We put it out to bid. We have to do that, internally for our company as well. But we felt that going with someone local here sticks to the theme of us investing in the community, Oklahoma City, and in addition also expediting the process because they have experience doing stuff here. So our estimation completion date would be August. We're hoping that we can move that date up. So I put that in there right now, August. It shouldn't be any later than that. We also have to plan around the idea of closing this down and servicing the customers while it's closed with temporary food operations in front of it or in the food court so that we can service the capacity of people coming through here, as well as the alcohol, because this is where the alcohol is in this side of the terminal, so we have to work on getting that permitted correctly so that we can have a smooth transition with it all as we do it here. So that's my brief kind of description of what we're going to do. I guess any questions, let me know.
Question?
Go ahead. I have one, if I may. Did you say, or perhaps Karen did, do you ever go outside of the terminal area, still on airport property, but not within the terminal, or would you ever consider that, depending upon the success of your facility inside the terminal?
So build this as like a restaurant in downtown or in another part of town area?
There's plans at some point to develop a retail area on the east side of the airport along I-44. So would you ever go off-site, let's say outside of the terminal area, but still on airport property?
Definitely. I mean, we haven't done that. Our business has been concessions in various venues, but I think if it's part of the airport's development plan, our relationship is with the airport, and we value that, so I think it's definitely something we would look at doing. Especially if you're building out retail and movie theaters and where there's a captive audience, I think we'd be open to it.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Karen, you mentioned music, and you also mentioned music.
Sure.
The music program, for want of a better term, that you're thinking about would all be concentrated in the facility here, or would it be out in the terminal in general, or both?
The goal is to have both, have music in different places throughout the airport. Obviously, the restaurant bars provide just a perfect venue, but there are opportunities in certain areas. For example, one of the areas we're looking at is by the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, which is kind of open and everybody would see that. Sometimes we want something in the ticket lobby area. So it's just Delaware North has already expressed of being a partner in helping to promote. We have a lot of opportunities in their spaces. I don't know if you have any more to add about
I
that.
actually, I just came from Austin Airport. We operate that, and that was our first go at putting together a live music program. It's been really successful, and we brought it up here because this is a great fit for it, too. So I think as we develop this concept in the next 6 months, it's getting built, we're also going to roll out, starting to do a music program. Bands, local musicians that can sign, 6-month contract, and once a week they're in there and we rotate them through. And either designing it in through a stage in here or, renovating another little area near the Coffee Bean with another stage so that everyone walking by, you don't have to have a beer, you can walk by, sit down, hear the music, and, I think it'll fit real well here. We're going to roll that out here in the next 6 to 8 months as we do this as well.
Very good. I just one vote for having something outside. I can still remember going to Albuquerque a number of years ago and being greeted by a Hispanic band that I thought added a lot to the ambience of the airport. So I encourage you to go forward with that. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for...
Any other comments? Thank you very much for coming. That sounds exciting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it very much. One other just point to mention is several months ago, the Route 66 Grill, which is in the West Concourse at the airport, that did not used to be a sit-down restaurant where someone waited on you, and at the end of last year, they actually converted that to more of a sit-down situation, which is a request that we've had. So they've been able to meet that for us, so thank you, Scott, for that.
Okay, moving right along. Will Rogers World Airport, sir.
Thank you. Item A is to rescind the December 18th, 2014 change order number 5 on the construction contract with Terrace Global for the checked baggage inspection system, and we're asking to reapprove that change order in the corrected amount of $17,165.26, retroactive to December 18th. We're also asking approval for change order number 6, adding $12,502.87. Item B is to approve the change order number 10 to the construction contract with Manhattan Construction Company for the new rental car facility, adding $36,290.43 in 15 days. C is to approve change order number 1 to the contract with Anderson & House Incorporated for doing the terminal high bay roof replacement project, adding $7,800. D is to approve change order number 4 to the construction contract with Conley Paving Company for the 64th Street replacement project at Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center. We're deducting $34,107.10, and we're also approving amendment number 3, which is also a deduction of $28,479. E is to approve amendment number 5 to the professional services contract with C.H. Guernsey and Company for the A&E services for the new rental car facility, adding $248,700. F is approving the contract with Northstand Communications doing business as Black Box Network Services. This is for the crash phone replacement system. Will Rogers approving the performance bond, contract amount $302,527.64. Item G is approving the contract for professional services with Frankfurt Short Bruza Associates, P.C. This is for the terminal expansion A&E contract in the amount of $7,285,050. H is approving the request for proposals for the professional management services agreement for airport parking facilities and airport shuttle bus operations for the Trust, authorizing advertisement for proposals to be received on February 24th. I is adopting the resolution waiving competitive bidding and ratifying my actions in approving ABM Parking Services to upgrade the Trust Parking Revenue Control System and software upgrade of $61,923.33 with Next Gen Parking. Item J is ratify the action of the Director in approving addendum number 1 for the multi-purpose building chiller replacement project at Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center. Accept the recommendation on the bids open December 23rd and awarding the contract to United Mechanical for $740,580, approving the contract and bonds. Those are all the items for Will Rogers.
Comments or questions from the trustees?
Move the items under item 4.
Motion second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. And it is so done. Wiley Post and Currency Page.
For general aviation, request approval for item A is to approve the substantial completion for the replacement of the roof at Hangar 11 at Wiley Post Airport with Diversified Construction accepting that project. And item B is approving the certificate of substantial completion for the airport beacon relocation project at Clarence E. Page Airport with the Libra Electric Company accepting that project.
You all have heard the items under Wiley Post and Currency Page. What are the trustees' wishes?
Move for approval. Second.
We have motion and second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. General.
Request or correction to receive the delinquent accounts receivable report, the construction project status report, and the budget actual report as of December 31st, 2014. Item B is to approve the recommendation regarding the uncollectible accounts for all 3 airports. Item C is to approve the professional services agreement for the facilities maintenance engineering services contract with Leidos Engineering, LLC. This is for a 1-year period beginning February the 1st. That's all the items under general.
You've heard the 3 items under general. What are the trustees' wishes? We have motion and second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. Lease and other agreements.
Item A is to approve supplement number 1 to the incoming artwork loan agreement with the Allen Hauser Incorporated to extend the term of the agreement for an additional 1 year and also providing for the trust reimbursement of expenses for the removal of artwork at the end of the term. This is for the 2 sculptures that we had last year. We're able to keep them for 1 more year at Will Rogers. Item B is approving the lease agreement with the Kelly Family Trust for an individual hangar site at Clarence E. Page Airport for privately owned aircraft storage for a 5-year period. And last is to approve the airport joint use agreement with the National Guard Bureau, with the Oklahoma Air National Guard Bureau's use of airport facilities at Will Rogers World Airport commencing May 1st for an annual amount of $32,130. Those are all the leases this morning.
You've heard the items under lease agreements. What are the wishes?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Any comments, David, about the importance of the artwork that we're going to get for another year?
It's tremendously important. I want to thank Aaron for her efforts to get that extended, and perhaps we'll get additional pieces of artwork from the Allen Hauser collection. It's a beautiful collection.
Thank you, Karen. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please cast your votes. Next up, paragraph 8.
Move we adopt the requisition resolution.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. Comments from trustees? Seeing none. Comments from staff? Any citizens wishing to be heard? Seeing none, we are adjourned.